rug.
All the rug
It
so
wasn't even
comfortable.
like, it felt like asphalt.
Like such a good
my pants. It was not a good situation.
last there.
Poor Matt, all the socks are ruined.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you guys for coming. Sorry you had to do this. Did you come to the last one that I did? Well, good. You don't have to sit through
Okay, Nora, shush. Okay, you might want to start over, honey, so you can cut that part out for saying that back.
It's okay. I'll just edit it out. So,
Nora.
I'm taking a class called Professional Presentations, and I have to practice giving presentations in front of people. This is actually one that I'm going to give at work. It's like a business presentation or whatever, but I'm supposed to like practice it with actually like with some adults before I do it.
So he's going to have to pay in the room, just so you guys know. So.
I already did. And then,
well, then you're going to have to pay at the end because now you're editing this out.
oh, okay. And then, sorry because a lot of this is just like stuff that applies specifically to like my work, and so it'll just be like, oh, that's great. So just try to pretend like it's interesting. And
yeah, you should really cut this out.
and you're Chase, and you're Tanner, and you're Gavin, and you're Garrett, and you're Arsalan. Just saying.
Arsalan!
Chase.
Tanner.
Okay.
10.
Wait, why? Do I have to remember everybody else's names, or can I just remember my own name?
You don't have to remember it. Okay, so let's get started. Thank you guys for coming today. I wanted to talk today a little bit about good user experiences and how they can improve our business and how they can help our company. So I wanted to start out with a video.
Telephone? Okay, it's gonna be a problem. I figured.
What's that?
How? Why? It's just gonna be a big nightmare. That's our policy.
Dad.
It's gonna be a nightmare. Something about hell on earth. It's different than I thought. I didn't know how it worked, so I asked him, how does that work? Do we have to wait in our home for a few days for the phone people to come out? No, we do it differently now. We can just flip the switch from right here. Right. Can you go ahead and flip it? We're going to flip it next Thursday.
That's my seat. It's my seat. Don't sit on me.
Can you flip it right now? We're going to flip it Thursday, late, or Friday, or sometime in November.
Okay.
Okay.
So one of my favorite comedians, and the reason I play that is because he's talking about a bad user experience, and it's one that's familiar to anyone who's ever set up internet or phone or any kind of a new service at a house or an apartment or anything like that. You call and try to get it set up, and it's a nightmare regardless of what company you're going through or whatever. And the cool thing about comedians is they all do this. Like, they're really good at pinpointing bad user experiences. And just if you watch that whole show, he talks about hospitals, and he talks about getting the phone set up. He talks about going to the optometrist. He talks about the user experience of like an ironing board, how it's like the worst design ever, putting like a heavy thing on top of an unstable object with a cord hanging down. Anyways, and it's funny because it's true. Like, there's all these like horrible user experiences that have been designed, and so it's good to point out because when we change that to helping people have a good user experience, it can make all the difference. So I just want you guys to keep this question in mind as we go throughout this presentation. How important is good user experience to our company, and what kind of a difference can it make? So first of all, before we start talking about, I want to share 3 principles about how we can create better user experiences. But before we do that, let's define who are our customers or our users or our audience. So I've broken it down here into 4 main groups. And so our team does design for ClearLink employees. You know, we design like t-shirts and stuff for the employees to buy. We design like slide presentations for the account management team to use when they're pitching ideas to potential clients. We've designed like sales tools for the salespeople to do order entry and stuff like that. So a big group of who we're designing for is actually people that work right here at ClearLink. And then other groups, obviously clients like AT&T or Vivint or other big companies that we work for. We're trying to pitch this idea of the intelligent customer experience. Also potential clients, like our new website that we just designed, that's all for potential clients, people that we're trying to get new business from. And then of course consumers, people that are reading our blog online or just interacting with our website through outreach materials and things like that. So just keep those people in mind as we go through this presentation. That's who we're designing for. So the first principle that I wanted to cover is focus on your audience. Focus on who you're talking to, who you're trying to sell something to, or who you're trying to do business with. Because a good user experience for one person might be a terrible user experience for somebody else. And so it's really important to always have that person in mind. When you're designing, when you sit down to design something or write something, always be thinking about that person. Now what is this? What are we looking at here? You can tell me.
Oh, Spotify.
Spotify, right? What would you guys say for user experience for Spotify? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Thumbs up? Any bad user experiences when you're using Spotify? Any negative things you can think of?
Yes.
What?
Well, when I want to play a certain song, it won't let me play a certain song like YouTube, you know?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
I mean, I don't have premium. I'm poor.
Okay.
That's because you don't have premium.
What are some good user experiences with Spotify?
You can organize your playlists very well, and I also like that they collaborate the Discover Weekly, the Radar Release,
Exactly.
and then they also do your top 100 from the year before.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's the reason I thought of Spotify when I was thinking of speaking to your users, because their software is basically like a reflection of the user. Like you look at your Spotify account and it's a reflection of yourself. It's the music that you love. Like you said, you have like your summer favorites that's playlists that they set up, your Discover Weekly, like you said, all these playlists that are designed around what you already love. And so it's kind of like a fail-proof way of designing their customer experience. So just keep that in mind when you sit down to design or to write something, who you're designing for. The next principle I wanted to talk about is user testing. And so does anyone know what user testing is? I figured Nicole would be the expert here tonight.
Isn't that Tanner?
I'm
Tanner.
Tanner. She's Gavin.
Gavin, what's user experience? Or what's user testing?
User testing is just seeing what it brings to your audience and just seeing where you can create better conversions and what you can make improvements on.
Exactly.
Usually it's to save on clicks.
Right.
To get them.
And so you design this experience and you think it's the greatest thing ever, but then somebody starts, using your website or whatever the experience is, if it's an app or whatever, and you don't know whether or not it's the best experience until you test it against something else. And so this is a talk that we listened to at a design conference earlier this year, the whole design team. And this guy talks about how comedians are the best at user testing, because what comedians do is they're giving their show or whatever, they're saying a bit or whatever you want to call it, and as they're trying to get people to laugh, they're listening for feedback. They're listening to see who's laughing. If it's a bad joke, if nobody's laughing, they're never going to tell that joke again. And they can even tell the difference between good laughs and bad laughs if it's just kind of a sympathy laugh or something like that, or if somebody's really laughing because they think it's hilarious. And so the process that I wanted to stress is how comedians, they are kind of like designing these jokes, and then they're testing the jokes on their users, and they're analyzing the feedback that their users are giving them, like all in one night. They could give 2 or 3 shows in one night, and they can be improving on their jokes each time they give a bit or whatever. And so as designers, we should be doing the same thing. We should be designing and testing and analyzing and designing all in this one big cycle, so that our products can be getting better and better as we design them. So this is one example of what Nicole was talking about. This is a website that sells education for commercial truck driving, and they did an A/B test for what kind of photos they wanted to use on their website. And so they originally just had a stock photo of some random guy in a truck, and they wanted to see what would happen if they used like a real photo of like a student wearing like a college sweatshirt with one of their actual trucks in the background. And as a result of just changing it to this photo, their conversions on that website went up by 161% because people could relate to this image and they trusted it more. And so just something as simple as that A/B test is now making this company a lot more money. So something to think about. So we talk about user testing a lot, but sometimes it's hard when you get back to your desk to think about, okay, how can I really apply that to what I'm doing? So obviously you guys won't know what these mean, but I put like 4 different points for different things that we do on our team and where we can user test. Moving on. The third principle that I wanted to talk about is delight. What?
Shouldn't you talk about that?
Delight? What other one?
Like actually talk about it?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
These guys don't care about that. So delight is a term that means like getting the user not just so that they're able to use your product or your service, but actually like enjoying it and like having fun with it. Can you guys think of a restaurant or any kind of experience or product or service that you've used where you're just like excited to use it or like psyched about using this product? Hydro Flask. Really? Why do you love Hydro Flask so much?
Oh, because they have so many colors to pick from, and it keeps my water cold, and it's cool and trendy.
It's invincible. You could throw it and it'll
That's
just
a
dent.
lie.
Right.
It'll only
Oh.
dent.
So something as simple as a water bottle that holds H2O, they could just say, oh yeah, you can put water in this and it doesn't leak and you can drink out of it and you can put something to cover it. Like that covers all your bases, right? But instead they focus on the colors, they focus on the way that it feels on the side of the bottle, the way that it, pours into your mouth, how the rim around it feels on your mouth and stuff like that. And so that's what really makes the difference between just making an experience that works and making an experience that's fun and delightful. So that's what makes all the difference. This is a website that I use to order business cards for our company every month. It's called Moo. I just wanted to run through real quick how it works. It's one of those experiences that I would consider delightful for something as boring as ordering business cards. So let's try it out real quick. So you just go Google Moo, open it up, and our company has an account. I just click on account, overview, and just look at the website, how everything kind of feels nice. The font is that nice kind of rounded, soft, has that soft feel to it. You sign in, it's got the nice colors, buttons, nice illustrations, stuff like that. I go to my, go to my business account. Everything goes to where it's supposed to go to. I can see my recent orders here, create a new product. And I can open that up so you guys can see that. I click on business cards, upload an image here. And so as you can see, it's just easy and intuitive to use. You don't have to think twice about where you're supposed to click. There's always a big green button so you know where to click next to get through your journey. You choose your options for what kind of paper you want and stuff like that. Review your design. Save and finish. This is actually my favorite part. You click on start ordering and it shows you all of the cards that you've designed in the past, and you can, if you hover here, there's you can click up in the corner or you can click down here, add to cart. It's just very intuitive and well laid out. You can see how it's kind of modular and it's not confusing about where to click. It looks pretty, the drop shadows on the different buttons and stuff like that. It just looks really nice. And then you just go up to add to cart and go through the order process. And that's one thing when you're ordering stuff online, you don't want it to be stressful or glitchy at all, because that's something that could move somebody away from buying your product or whatever. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's something that, like I said, ordering business cards isn't super exciting, but I never feel like it's a drag because their website is so nice. And I even subscribe to their newsletter that they send out once a week or once a month or whatever, and it has all the same imagery that you would see on their homepage. Everything's uniform, so I just wanted to highlight that real quick. So back to the presentation. Let's see here. I think that's about it. So let's just review real quick. First of all, make sure your experience is focused on your audience. Don't design an experience that you think you would like. Design an experience that who you're actually designing for would like. User testing. Always be testing what works, what doesn't work, so you can get to the best solution fastest. And then finally, delight. Make something that's going to make people happy and excited to come back and use your product and be a returning customer. So I think the remedy to getting our company more business is really creating a memorable, unique experience that people will crave and want to come back to. So thank you guys for coming. Here's our trusty audience. Thank you guys so much.
I'm